of us go in our safe zones thinking it's just him. But there's going to come a time when we will realize that if we had invested in the education of our young people, our country would have been better. The 30 million kwacha that the president dispersed to the young people, it's because obviously he has money and he thinks he can buy everyone and everything. It's unfortunate that not everybody is for sale and not everything is for sale.
Because I think just from there, I did speak to the minister responsible for tourism who refused that, 30 million kwacha was already, money that was in the pipeline and it wasn't necessitated because Pilato and his friends went in the bush. That was money that was already planned to question, the impact of COVID, especially on the art industry. Do you believe that the reason why those monies were released was because of the act of you going to the bush?
First of all, I don't believe anything that Mr. Chtotela says, and I don't believe everything he said. And if the money was in the pipeline, it must have been a very long pipe that it only got delivered after the protest.
Well, besides the, that particular, piece of fund that government set aside, we've also seen quite a number of empowerment funds that government is dispersing through the Presidential Empowerment Fund, but also through other empowerment funds. People that are in aquaculture, now government is advising young people to form cooperatives in order for them to access those particular funds. Do you believe, from your own perspective, do you think this is the right direction to cushion unemployment rate that is currently high in our country?
So first of all, Andrew, if you asked any economist anywhere, they'll tell you that you cannot give money to people or into any sector without, first of all, doing a market research. If I'm going to give you money as an artist or as an entrepreneur, the first thing I'll need to do is find out from you how much of that business you understand. And if now that we have businesses in Zambia, the question is, what is the environment like for smaller businesses? What is the point in me giving you the money to start a business in an environment that's going to crash your business the next day? If I was speaking to the president, I would ask him, when did you do the research that fish farming in Zambia, because that's where a lot of money went to, and we know that everyone with money now, they're getting into fish farming because there's a fish fund. So everyone is now getting that money to get into fish farming. At what point did we feel, at what point did you do a research and then you realize that every millionaire in the government, every government official can be a successful fish farmer? At what point, when did that happen? When did your interest in fish farming come? When did you do the analysis, the market analysis? When did you realize that fish farming would benefit the economy to this extent? That is very important because anybody that tries to find a solution to a problem, they first must understand the problem. The failure to understand the problem means that failure to find its solution. To assume that the only problem that young people do not have businesses and do not have jobs today is because they don't have money is shallow and regrettable.
Generally, how would you describe how the current administration is transacting leadership?
Thiefdom. So a thiefdom is the rule of thieves by the thieves for the thieves. Thank you.
Well, quite interesting answers. Fair enough. you're an adamant advocate who was opposed to, to Bill 10, which failed to be enacted into law. But also, one of the issues that erupted after the failure of Bill 10 is the conversation around the eligibility of the president to contest. You are so strong against Bill 10, Pilato. You did whatever you could to ensure that it does not go through. The conversation around the eligibility of the president, from your own perspective, what do you make of it?
So first of all, I must state that there is generosity of sharing ignorance in Zambia these days. So everybody has an opinion over everything. On this particular issue, I do not think that I have enough knowledge to share about the Constitution when we have credible legal minds that can argue the eligibility of the president. This is very important because there are people that are listening to me that might take my take on the constitutionality or the eligibility or legality of President Lungu standing in 2021. I may mislead them. I decide not to add my voice on the eligibility of President Lungu standing in 2021 simply because I'm not a lawyer, and this is a topic that I feel the best minds in the country,
Do you think
lawyers.
It is that type of thinking that...
Let me finish, Andrew, then you're going to do that. This is a subject that I would allow lawyers to argue. Let them battle it out, and then let them give us, the laymen and laywomen, a position. Why that is important is that we have witnessed radio stations, we've witnessed TV stations discuss technical subjects and topics out of ignorance, and they disseminate unconfirmed stories and positions that in the process influence how people behave and react to certain things. I refuse to add my voice to that bunch of ignorant sources of information. What I can do, what I can tell you is whether President Lungu qualifies to stand or not, morally, I think he shouldn't stand.
Why do you say so?
Why I say so? If he loves this country, if he loves it so much, I think he mustn't stand. Like how, if you look at where we are, I'll talk about the dollar. The dollar is 21 kwacha. If he loves this country, he must ask himself, where else can I take this country apart from where it is now? This is a country where you could go to the police and report a case, and you expect the police to react. Today, the police do not even know what to do because they have to wait for an instruction from someone. If you go to court today, people like me would actually be laughed at by the public. You're even going to the court because they know that the court are unfair. That's how much our institutions have been damaged. Economically, you know where we are. If President Lungu loves this country, even by 0.000%, 0.1%, I think he should just say, okay, guys, I can't stand. I can't stand. It's only if he hates this country that much that he would want to kufidira munsenga. But I think Zambia, as a country, as workers, that it even fails to pay on time. But the workers of PF cadres, workers of PF ministers, workers of PF members of parliament, PF staff get paid every other time. If you walk around, you see the people that are working as teachers, see how they are living.